So finally, to the last topic on this Pandas tutorial, a brief introduction to the plotting. Pandas also support plotting, right? So let us see. We have the standard matplotlib library, which is very widely used in Python. A lot of tutorials are already there on it. Fine. So we import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, just like we do import pandas as PD, right? And here we are defining the basic graph parameters. Even if you don't define this, it's okay, right? Then pandas will basically have its own default size for it. So let us see just 2-3 graphs on it. So we have the movies data frame and we are doing the plot. We are calling the plot function. We say the kind of plot we want is a scatter plot. On the x-axis, we want to keep the rating column, and on the y-axis, we want to keep the revenue underscore million column. So let us just see how does it look. So let me remove this row, delete. So on the x-axis, we need the rating and y is revenue millions. So we have the rating and revenue millions. Let us try to plot the scatter of it. So somehow it looks of this kind in Excel, and we will see the similar graphs will appear in the pandas. So let us import matplotlib. You can see a similar graph you can add in Excel, kind of a triangular graph with dots around it, and here. So on x-axis we have the rating column. Rating is of course 0 to 10, and on y-axis the revenue earned, right? So you can see that even very high ranked movies, right, 8 plus ranked movies have a lower revenue also in terms of million, and few movies which have been rated less than 5 did score a good in terms of revenue also. Similarly, you can also plot a histogram. You can just see the matplotlib library. A lot of graphs are there. So we are seeing a histogram and we are plotting the histogram of the rating, right? So you can see the movies like having rating between 8 to 9 are very low in frequency, and on an average the movies of rating between 6 to 8 are high in number in the database, right? Again, we can just see the description of the rating as we saw, mean, standard, median. So you can see 50% of the movies have rating from 0 to 6.8, and above 50% are 7.4 and 9. So the max is 9, right? So there is no movie which is having a rating higher than 9 in the database. Similarly, we have a box plot. So box plot basically just plots these numbers, right? So we have the minimum 25%. This green line is the median, 50%, 75%. This is viscous, the upper quartile and the lower quartile ranges. So plotting basically can go to any depth. This I'm just introducing you to the concept of plotting in this. Again, we can have a box plot with 2 columns, and we are having revenue in terms. Basically, we are plotting revenue underscore millions. On this axis we have the revenue millions, and then we have the rating category. Remember, we had rating category, the good and the bad, right? We defined a function also. If you remember, we had a rating function. More than 8.0 is a good movie and less than 8 is a bad movie. Since we had 2 categories, we are coming up with 2 bar plots. If we had 4 categories, we would have 4 graphs here. So you can see this is how these are all outliers, kind of, that shows that okay, bad movies, there are bad movies which have scored very good on the revenue, of course, and there are some good movies which have scored less on the revenue, right? So this was the brief description about plotting, and finally we wrap up the session on pandas. So hopefully pandas was an interesting tutorial, right? If you do machine learning, deep learning, data analytics, data analysis, or anything, pandas is your friend. A lot of help is available online. So thank you for watching. Have a good time.